There's a new, very simple array method in ES 2022, which is the add method. And so let's take a look at it. And let's start by creating some dummy array. So 23, 11, 64. So just 3 random values here. And then if we wanted to take one of the values out of the array, let's say the first one, then we would traditionally do this, right? So array at position 0. So that's basically what this means. But now with the new add method, we can do the exact same thing using a method. And as you can guess, that is the add method. Then we specify the exact same index here, and then we get the exact same value. So basically now we do what we say here. So here we say array at position 0. And so that's why this new method is called array.addPosition0. So very, very simple, right? So basically we can now replace the traditional bracket notation with the more modern looking add method if we prefer to use array methods like this. Now, maybe this doesn't look all too useful. So what's the big deal here? Well, actually there is one particularity of the add method which makes it quite useful to use instead of the brackets notation. So let's now say that we wanted to get the last element of the array. Now, supposing that we do not know the length of the array, we would write something like this. So array at the position of array.length minus 1. And that will then give us 64. So array.length is the length of the array, which is 3, but the last position here is position number 2, because the array is 0 based. So the indexes are 0 based. So 0, 1, 2. And so therefore, whenever we want to get the last element of an array, we always subtract 1 from the length. So this is quite a common scenario in JavaScript, and that's why there's also another solution. So another way is to use the slice method that we just learned before. So r.slice, and with this we can then get a copy of the original array. And here we can use -1 to get the last element of the array, right? So just like we learned in the previous lecture. So here we get that copy of the array only with the last element. So of course we want the value, and so then we need to take out that first value by doing square brackets 0. All right. So these are the two more traditional ways of solving the problem of getting the last element. However, as you can probably guess, the new add method makes this process even easier. So now all we have to do is to write r.add, and now here we can write the exact same negative indexes that we can write in the slice method. And so if we log this now, then here again we have 64. So the negative index, just like in slice, basically starts counting from the right side here, so from the end of the array. And so we could also write -2. So -1 and -2. So this should give us 11, and indeed, here is that 11. But most of the time, the thing that we're most interested in here is this -1 to get the last element of the array. And that's actually it. Now the only question is, should you use this new add method, or should you keep using the bracket notation? Well, as always, it depends. So if you want to get the last element of an array, or basically start counting from the end of an array, then you should probably start using the add method. Also, if you want to do something called method chaining, which we will talk about later in this section, then the add method is also perfect for that. So basically combining multiple methods all at the same time. And then it's quite helpful to use the add method instead of the brackets notation. Now, on the other hand, if you just want to quickly get a value from an array, so just like the first element, then of course you can keep using the brackets notation. And personally, I also do that all the time. So basically, if all you want to do is something like this, then you can simply keep using these square brackets. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I actually also wanted to let you know that the add method also works on strings. So let's log to the console a string, let's say Jonas, and then here we can also use the add method. For example, let's say at 0, and so that will give us J. And then, of course, we can also get the last character of the string by using at -1.